welcome all of you here tonight, and I would invite Pastor Nate Kingsley forward to bring our invocation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nate, for being here.
Thank you, Council. Father, thank you so much for the privilege to live where we do. Thank you for a quiet and peaceful town. Thank you for those who've taken on the leadership role, and give them grace to do their job tonight, Lord. Help us lead quiet and orderly lives, and give them wisdom for tough decisions or things that affect us. And we just pray they'll be able to do their job well. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Nate. We'll wait a couple more minutes till 7 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock, so I'll call our meeting to order and ask that you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Shirley, would you take a roll call, please?
Mayor Hammond.
Here.
Larry Lambert.
Here.
Mike Connell.
Here.
Bob Porter.
Here.
Mindy Gallavy. Here. Kamal Ghazi. Kristen Gable.
Here.
That's absent tonight.
Looking for approval of our agenda for tonight.
I move that we adopt the agenda as printed. Second.
We have a motion from Mike, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Looking now for approval of our council meeting minutes from October 16th.
I move that we suspend the rules, waive the reading, and approve the minutes from October 16th, 2025, regular meeting.
A second. We have a motion from Mindy, seconded by Kristen. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. We'll move into pre-approved reports and presentations, and we're looking to the chairman of the Local Officers Compensation Committee, Nate Kingsley, who is going to give us a report from their recent meeting.
Thanks. The committee did meet on Monday, October 20th, here. And we elected officers and then discussed compensation. So there was a unanimous decision to leave the compensation unchanged for the next coming 2-year periods.
Council, do you have any questions for Nate? Any comments regarding their recommendation? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I've seen Councilman, or County Commissioner Matthew Shepard's here. Matt, did you have a report you wanted to bring tonight?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure to give the public an address of what's the truth. Today I attended the 911 board meeting, and I'll get to what was discussed with that as well. 76% of a person's income goes back to the government in one form or another to supplement our bloated government. Do we need more taxes? No, I don't believe so. We need to stop wasteful spending. That's imperative throughout local, state, and federal government. What we need to do is have some corrections made, beginning with the local government. You work from the bottom to the top, just as the founding fathers prescribed in the Constitution. And I'll get to that with what I was presented at the board meeting today. They want to increase the surcharge on cell phones another 35 cents per phone. How much do we need to keep giving our government? The 911 board alone operates on a budget of over $2.4 million a year. That's a lot of cell phones in this county. They told me it was right around 70,000 cell phones in Shiawassee County alone. If we don't stand up to this, then they'll just, when does it stop? When does the millage after millage after millage stop? How much does our government need of the people's money? Like I said, 76%, that's a huge number. When the colonial residents revolted over a 6 cent sales tax, as you could say, it was a stamp tax back then. Everything that was manufactured had a stamp tax. Now, everything that comes around, they just want to fill their pockets even more. 35 cents is the proposed millage increase within the state regulations to the cap of $3. Right now, it's $2.65 per cell phone for this surcharge. The state legislature has an initiative on the board right now, on the table, whichever, that they want to increase that cap. What's the increase going to be? I don't know yet. It could be up to $4 for a surcharge. Now, in the meeting, they were discussing having this surcharge increased in lieu of getting state grants. I think that they need to go back to the table and investigate, research, and find these grants where the state has all of our tax dollars instead of wasting more of our money. I mean, the MEDC is under investigation right now. How much more do we need to give? I don't know. How much more are people going to stand for? I don't know. Charles Schwab said it, what, last year, I believe? You'll have nothing and you'll be happy. I don't think many people in this area are going to be happy with nothing. Just consider that. It's going to be on the ballot either August or in the general election next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving into public comment, is there anyone here that would like to step forward for public comment during this time? Hello?
Hello. All right, thank you all again for having us at this meeting today and allowing me to speak in front of the council members today. So again, I just want to share something that is deep in my heart, along with a lot of community members that I spoke with in the past couple of weeks. I do believe, and actually to go back with his point as well, in terms of the tax increases that we have on surcharges and stuff like that, and the money that we're giving to the government, I do feel as if it is necessary that we could give something back to our own small community that we have here.
Excuse me, could you
Yes.
give us your name, please?
Oh, yes, my name is Jacob Nicholas.
Jacob, thank
Yes,
you.
you're very welcome. Again, so I do believe it's something that we need to have as a community in terms of, so what I mean is I believe we should have the community center and sports complex that was on the ballot for the schools that they have proposed. I don't know how many years ago back it was, but I do believe it is something that the city should back the schools with. I don't know if it's a school issue or if it's a city issue. I believe it's something that we should at least back and have for our community. There's a sports complex in Durand that's very similar in terms of what we would need here in Perry. And I think it would allow the community an outlet for our children to go and play, socialize, and really, I don't know, just, it would just promote so much positive things. It would help with the community mental health that we have in our area. Our seniors wouldn't have to travel, 10-plus miles to go to the Morris Senior Center to do what they want to do. They could have it right here in Perry, right? So something for our kids, something for the adults. I looked up on the internet in terms of Shiawassee County specifically. Four in every 10 adults are considered obese in this county. And I think if we had something that was closer, it would encourage our community to exercise, have fun, interact with other parents and other peers in the community. And so I've also lived in a larger city, Lansing, for example, in Holt. They have things where communities can go and, just relax, talk, hang out with people, right? That's something we need here. As a business owner, and I'm sure there's many other business owners in here, or as a board member, you guys have a space where you guys can go and conduct and meet and stuff like that, but the community needs something of that matter to conduct business, grow in the community. And ever since COVID, there's just been such a divide, right? And I think this complex could be something that would be good for our community. We don't have really anything in a 15 to 20 mile radius. And I think by us having this community center, sports complex, whatever you want to call it, I think it would draw people into our community, and I think it would invite like a positive growth in terms of people wanting to live here in Perry. So the only thing that I ask is that you guys possibly, back up the school, or if it's something that we can do, we would love to back you guys up. And there's a lot of people in this room, a lot of people in the community that would also agree. If they were sitting here right now, they would agree. That's really all I have. I will probably be back again to speak on the subject.
Well, you're welcome to come back. We meet twice a month,
Twice a month. Excellent.
first and third Thursday at 7 o'clock. You're welcome anytime. We appreciate your comments. Council, do any of you have comment or question regarding this?
It's just a shame it didn't pass the last time, because it would bring a ton to the community, and it didn't miss by much.
40 votes.
Really?
40
40
votes.
votes.
40
I
votes.
think it had a lot to do with people not even realizing what was going on.
Yeah.
There was very little awareness of it.
Well, it was the school. It
Yeah,
wasn't
of
the
course,
city.
of course.
No, yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
The school did try pretty hard to get some info out.
Okay.
They ran some messaging on it. I think Dr. Haven came and spoke
Yeah, she did.
to council here about it. And
I got information.
yeah, it really too bad it didn't pass, because, it would have just been a continuation, not a raise, and it would have brought a lot to the community. So, yeah, I was bummed it didn't pass too.
Yeah. I think we were all surprised and dismayed that it didn't pass, but I hope it will come around again.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Thank you for coming.
You're very welcome. Oh, I just want to add one more thing. I
sure.
promise. And I think this would help too. There's probably a handful of parents that are in charge of conducting the football, the baseball, the soccer programs. I don't know if there's something that we can do with Shiawassee County as a whole to maybe create a Parks and Rec department. I don't know if that's something you guys can get with.
We have a park
We
committee.
we do, okay.
Yes, we do.
The county also has their own park and recreation department.
They do, okay. Because it would I think it would help a lot of the members of the community if they had something that would organize these events for all the parents. It's very strenuous on a lot of the parents that have to organize these events. And at a certain point, some of the parents are gonna, they're just gonna get older, the kids are gonna get older, and they may or may not be able to support these programs anymore. And I want to be able to continue all these programs that we have down the road, right? And my question is, how do we do that, right? How do we ensure that, my kids, my great grandkids that, grow up from this community? Because I don't plan on moving out of this community. I genuinely love Perry, right? I just want something that they can benefit from in the future. So I think that would be it, honestly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment tonight?
Hello.
And your name is
Chris Benjamin.
Chris Benjamin?
Yeah.
just to piggyback on what he was saying, I just want the words to be heard that there's a larger group amount of people that would like direction and insight on how we need to get this pushed forward to move forward with the complex and the things we do. I know we have some other volunteer coaches back here as well, and we volunteer for football and wrestling, and it's, the numbers of kids we have coming out, there's a large need for this facility, there's a large need for more facilities and fields, and I just make sure we get that outreach, so. A direction we could move forward would be nice, a way that we can chase this and keep on it. I know we have 4 or 5 of us here tonight, and there's more that want to be here, but there's practice going on, so we're looking for insight and direction to help move this forward, so. Thank you for hearing our words tonight, I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
If it's attached to the public school, you're gonna have a problem.
I think you need to go to the school board meeting too.
Yeah, I think that's a place to start.
They're the-
Attached to
Are
the
you
public
hearing?
school, you're gonna get no votes all over the place.
Shirley suggested that you go to the school board meeting. Have you done that?
I have not.
Okay, that
That's where
would,
you need to start,
Since
because
it was
it's
a
their
s-
proposal.
yeah, it was
Go ahead.
the school proposal
Mhm.
that was on the ballot. So absolutely, the school board needs to hear from you folks. I mean, I don't think there's anybody at this table that was against that.
Right, okay.
And it's great because we do record our meetings, and the people who do take the time to watch them are going to hear what you had to say, but the school board probably needs encouragement from you, the community, to pursue and to continue to pursue this.
Do you know when they congregate?
They meet monthly, but I don't know the day. You could certainly look at their website online.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Did anybody else want to come forward? Anyone else for public comment? Well, thank you guys for coming. We can see that's very important to you, and I think it is a very important issue for our community. So thank you. Shirley, do we have communications tonight?
Yes. So in your packet that I gave you tonight, I handed out the master plan information for Perry Township. They sent a new letter, you guys can read that. There's all of these flyers are on the back, in the back. The recycling for the Langsburg Stuff the Hummer is going to be on December 13th, on Saturday. That's the day of our Christmas Fantasy. We're located at the Village Fresh. I just got this today. Codettes is hosting a ladies' night of some sort, so there's a flyer back there for that. I think that's all the flyers that I had. So that's it. Unless I handed you guys some of these. Oh, I did give you another, a revised ordinance, amendment 405.
Yep.
We
Yep.
kind of had a few little issues with that and had to, speak with the attorney about it, so. So I redid that and sent that out after your packet was sent.
Lots of stuff. Thank you. Moving into our department head reports, I don't have anything other than what's on our agenda already, so we can move right into our department heads. John, would you like to go first, please?
Okay, other than day-to-day operations, I was able to, I started a part-time employee, I think, since the last time we met. And I did find a full-time hire. I mean, he's only been here for a week, so, well, it'll be a week tomorrow. So there's some new faces in Public Works. Everybody seems to be getting on board with everything. Leaf collection is
You
in
want
full.
to tell them their names?
Yes. So our part-time employee is John Sipka, and our full-time employee is Jonathan Robert Nemeth. And so moving forward, leaf collection's in full swing. We're working as fast as we can, collecting as much as we can. We don't intentionally miss stuff. we've got a lot of spots to hit, so we're out there. This week we ran every day, so we'll probably run up till tomorrow afternoon again unless the rain or something. I'm still working on the phosphate permit with Eagle. I'm hoping that I'll have it approved before next council meeting. I think I've got everything packaged up and submitted to them, so that's where that's at. And it's been started a while ago, and it kind of got stalled out, and I apologize, but I've gotten back on it, and I think I got everything rolling. So
Great.
I've got, the new salt barn has salt in it. That's up and operational. I guess I haven't said a whole lot about that. The old building's been cleaned out, and we've got equipment stored in there. And I was able to get in on a Consumers Energy lighting rebate. You'll see it in the expenses for the month. So we had to pay it up front, but it was like 32 something, and our cost after the rebate is gonna be like $14.76. And it's gonna end up, all of the public works, interior lights, all the parking lot lights here, the well field, I've got a bunch of them out there. I did look into the street lighting. There wasn't enough in it to move forward with that, any type of project with that right now. So the city's expense is gonna be like $14.76. So I went ahead and did that.
Great.
And I think that's about it, unless anybody has any questions.
Council, do you have any questions, comments for Don?
Yeah.
Good to hear you got the new employees on it.
Yeah. Good job saving money on those lights, that's wonderful.
When you plan on stop leaf, do you have like a date or general idea? Don't tell me when it's.
Monday, if it snows, you know, I always have floated it, so we're scheduled, you know, starting in December. If we got 98% picked up and it's snowing,
Well, if it snows, I understand completely, just.
we'll keep going. I probably won't go much past, I don't know, I don't have a calendar, I don't know what
Your
the,
crystal
let's say
ball's
the
broken
10th.
like mine?
You can't forecast.
The lighting ceremony will be done
Okay.
before then.
I was gonna ask too, because it seems like the leaves are later this year.
Yeah,
So,
so we'll probably be a couple weeks.
that's good.
Very
I
good.
plan on a big trip at my house, my leaf blower broke, I'm well behind.
Megan, would you like to go next?
Hello, everybody. A couple updates, and then I'll talk to you again later down in the agenda. I do have a draft of the audit. They will be presenting at the next meeting, so November 20th. Everything looks as it should, just going through their notes to make sure I agree with what they say. I have started outreach for Christmas Fantasy, which is December 13th. I think I sent over 50 emails to different clubs, churches, organizations, and businesses in town, not just the ones on Main Street, but inviting others in the surrounding outskirts of the community to come downtown also. We do have options to try and house maybe businesses that don't have a direct storefront. Email apparently is not the best option for marketing these kinds of things, so we will do some door-to-door in the next week or so. Mindy has offered to help me do that, and I think the mayor said yes also. So we'll start on that in the next week. Just it's status quo, same event as always. Scavenger hunt. The Bethlehem Market is coming back. I heard from the Nazarene Church. Horse-drawn wagon rides. So all the big things you're used to are still happening. We're just going to double check with all the storefronts that they plan on participating as well. And the only other thing I was going to touch on real quick is I think we've all heard that there's new road funding that was recently passed in the most recent state budget. There are more unknowns than knowns as to how that money is being distributed. It is a different public act than the way funds are distributed now, and so they're coming from different funding sources. It's my understanding that we will have an increase in road funding, but there's also going to be a decrease to one of the distributions that we receive now. So it's going to offset each other and then probably increase as well. The new funding doesn't start until January. I don't know what it looks like. I have large dollars, but when they tell me one of my other pools is going to decrease, I don't know what that looks like to know how they mesh together. That's all for now.
Any questions for Megan? Okay,
Thank
in a
you.
few minutes. Oh. Shirley, how about you?
The only thing, a couple things that I forgot, I did give you the, I'm sorry, going backwards now, the holiday calendar.
Yep.
Which I'll get into, and the council meeting and planning commission dates for those, for the meeting dates. Okay, so I got those out of the way. We are closed on Tuesday, November 11th for Veterans Day. And the other thing that I want to talk about real quick is this is going to be coming, I don't know if it'll be next council meeting, maybe in December. It's not a big rush, but we had a Zoom meeting with our website host, Schumacher, and they are requiring, the state, I guess, is requiring your website be ADA compliant, and ours is not. So what they're requiring, Megan will probably have to help me out a little bit, because I was not into the Zoom meeting. You need to be able to use your tab button to tap through all of your, and we have issues at the top of our website and some other little issues, not major ones, but just some little issues. So that has to be completed by April of 2027. We have time, but might as well start looking into it now. See what we have to do. So they're gonna draft a price and all that good stuff for us. So that's just that. That's it.
I'll just tag on to your comment about Veterans Day. The parade is here in Perry this year for Shiawassee County, and it will start at 5 o'clock. Lineup is down on Keeney Street, which is the street that goes to the school. And then they'll come up Main Street to the south to the fire hall, and then they'll have a brief ceremony in the parking lot behind the fire station. Kyle, would you like to go next, please?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Well, we don't need to talk about December 13th and stuff the Hummer.
Oh, sorry.
We don't need to talk about the Veterans Day Parade at 5 o'clock on Veterans Day. So, I have nothing, no, I'm just kidding. I wanted to update you on, for the last several years, we've been able to participate with the Shiawassee County Sheriff's Department in the Office of Highway Safety and Planning traffic enforcement grants. And I think I've reported on that in the past. But I was able to do a calculation of hours that we've used here at Perry PD. So in 2022/23, we were able to utilize 33 hours of overtime from that grant and reimburse the city for extra traffic enforcement. And then 23/24, we were able to utilize 70 hours. And then last grant cycle, 24/25, we used 81 hours of overtime. So extra hours, and I can tell you that we're pretty close to about an extra traffic stop / ticket every hour on average, give or take, based on that. So it's quite a bit more enforcement that we're able to provide. It's outside of normal working hours, so they're not taking calls, they're not responding to things, so that's just strictly traffic. So definitely worthwhile, and I thank the Sheriff's Department for administering that. I am still in communication with West Shore regarding the approved proposal for the command center to be in City Hall for our sirens. It's been a bit of a process, but I made some progress this week, and so I got a response back. So, they're ready to start the project. So hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll definitely have something scheduled for sure. And I just wanted to let you know that I'll be moving the speed sign here shortly. I don't have a new location yet, I haven't picked, but I got a couple of options that have been rolling around, and we'll see where I can best set it up and make sure that it's in the right of way, but out of the way of any homeowners and all of that fun stuff.
We did see some improvement in number of speeders along Main Street, is that correct? According to the sign and the information that's recorded on the sign?
Yeah, either last meeting or in the meeting before, I
Right.
provided some statistics, and we're definitely seeing an increase. The average speed through there, based on the sign, is like 1.5 miles over 35, so around mid-36s. I'd say that's pretty darn good. Because before that, before we had turned it on, it was much higher, and I can't tell you off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, the numbers that you shared look like it had markedly reduced.
Yeah, it definitely gets people's attention.
Wonderful.
Any other questions?
Comments
All right.
for Kyle? Thank you, Kyle.
Thank
That brings our reports to a close. How about committee reports? Do we have any committee
Yeah,
reports
yeah.
for tonight? Looking for presentation and approval of our bills.
I move that we approve the bills as presented and that payment be authorized.
Second. We have a motion from Mike, seconded by Mindy. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next on our agenda under old business is a discussion regarding the American Tower proposal. American Tower is who leases the tower that's by the DPW building. And we received a letter, just like we have every year, it seems like maybe every other year, from them to buy out of this lease. And we did get it in time for the meeting, but not really in time for council to review the information in it. So we decided to table it until this meeting so that discussion could be held. In the meanwhile, I did receive the name and phone number of an attorney who specializes in this type of lease buyout negotiation for municipalities from Tom Bridges. And I did call that number, but found that that specific attorney is retired. But I was given the name and number of another person if council indeed wants me to contact and get information. I'm happy to do that. So discussion is open regarding the American Tower site.
I'd like to see us consider going back and requesting at least a more attractive number for the city than the $325,000 or whatever that they originally came in with. You know, if we get it out to, you know, that's about a 10-year break-even point, I believe. I'd like to see us at least get out to 15 or more.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, it seems to me like this is kind of the cheap way for them to get out of it.
Which is why they offer it every couple of years.
Right.
I say we stay the way it is. I know you mentioned last time your concern about the tower becoming obsolete in, a few years. I just don't see that happening. Yeah, sure, we have satellites, but, they're not forever either. They have to be decommissioned and what have you. I don't see towers and cell phones going anywhere. And if we only 9 years to come up with this, $300,000 they're offering us, 300 whatever. This is part of our budget. I say we keep going. I don't see that tower going anywhere. And just the fact that they offer to buy this out every couple of years tells you they know that's gonna save them some money. They don't wanna keep paying this lease.
That's the reason, Kristen, I suggested, take a kick at the proverbial can to consider, can we get a more attractive buyout offer?
Yeah, but it'd have to be pretty darn
Kristen, can I
attractive.
ask if your comment regarding you don't see an end coming to the use of towers,
Mhm.
is that based on your gut instinct or research?
Well, research, but also, I mean,
You
just
did
common
research,
sense.
you did research,
Oh,
because I
yeah.
got an email just a month ago that said that small cell tower use was expected to decline. Now, I didn't research it further, I didn't look into the company that sent the information, but, I mean, it's one thing for us to say, oh, well, that's gonna last forever, because nothing lasts forever. But if you have researched it and you have places that you've talked to or researched from or could send the information, I think we would appreciate that, knowing that.
I will, well, I've just talked with people who are in the business, but, so I didn't get any kind of, paperwork or anything, but I could look into it.
If
And
you.
studies that, but like I said, I know a couple people in the business, and they just don't see, any kind of end soon to a need for towers. We will still continue to need towers, definitely beyond 9 years. I mean, I just don't, I think we'd be selling ourselves short. And then, at the, sure, we have $300,000 in our pocket, and yeah, we could do a lot of things with that, but long-term, I mean, this is, like I said, we factor this into our budget, so.
We do.
I don't see,
How
9
much,
years is
how much
enough.
is that, do we get a year, Megan?
Right, this year's about 30,000, but it goes up 2% every year.
Okay.
I agree with Kristen. I think we need it for our budget.
Or maybe,
I agree with Kristen. I think we need the income for our budget.
That's a sizable amount.
I mean, it'd be nice to have a nice big chunk to do some stuff with it that are, but we also need it in our budget.
And I think we'd be selling ourselves short, for sure. And like I said, you go back to the same thing now and 0.3 times. That's why they're offering it over and over and over.
I agree with Larry that I think we should at least look into it to see what we could get. I mean, because it's not just money that we could do stuff with. We have well number, what is it, John, 4, that's fallen apart. We have got to do something with that well. What are we gonna pay for that with? Any idea?
Water fund.
Water fund,
Do you have enough in there to do that repair? Okay. So maybe we don't need it.
I think I
What do you
agree
think,
with the
Beth?
mayor and Larry that we at least have a conversation with an attorney. I also agree, I'm indifferent, because I like the, one in the hand is better than 2 in the bush, as the old saying goes. But at least conversation doesn't cost us anything.
that's my
Right.
point.
Right.
If they come back and say, no, that's our best offer, then I'd be
Well, I
inclined
mean,
to
just
say,
have a conversation with an attorney and say, okay, how many of these have you done, or is it, what do most people do in this situation, and then.
What are the pros and cons?
Right, because we can only do so much limited research on limited knowledge of what we know about the cell phone. I would agree that we're not gonna run out of towers in the next 10 years, but who knows?
Right.
Meg, do you have any comments on that?
I just kind of agree that this is kind of the cheap way for them to get out of it. And if they can't raise that number, probably significantly, then I'd be inclined to just let them keep making the payments and use that money yearly.
So am I hearing that you'd be okay with a conversation happening with the attorney before the decision is made to?
I'm okay with that. It's just more information. There's nothing wrong with more information and gathering more numbers, but
Okay.
as the way it sits, I don't like it.
Yeah, that's right, and I agree with
yeah,
that. Okay. Would you like me to initiate that conversation?
Yes.
Please.
Okay. I will contact that attorney that I got the name of the other day and have discussion and bring that information back to you at our next meeting, okay?
Thank you.
So surely we'll need this back on the agenda next time. Okey-doke. Moving on then, unless there's any other conversation about that topic, anything? Okay. Moving on then to, we already got our recommendation from the Local Officers Compensation Committee, but we need to, as a council, acknowledge that. So under new business, you'll see that we have a resolution prepared in regard to that.
I move that we accept the recommendation from Nate Kingsley, Chair of the Local Officers Compensation Commission, to make no change to the mayor and council members' pay for 2025.
Second.
And 26, sorry, 2026.
Okay, we have a motion from Bob, seconded by Mindy. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you for that. Moving on to number 2, under new business is a discussion about the possibility of canceling our January 1st, our first meeting of January, because it falls on January 1st. So discussion regarding that.
I think we can cancel it. I think we want to be no watching football.
Well, I'm looking for a
Move
motion
that we
if that's
cancel the
okay.
January 1st, 2026 council meeting.
Second.
We have a motion from Mike, seconded by Larry. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
You tell them to get a.
Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. And now moving on to number 3, which is a new furnace quote. John, you want to talk to us about that?
So the second floor units, well, I guess to start at the whole thing is we did a building asset management through OHM, and it was part of it, but we had already been planning on doing stuff or updating them over time, but the summer, in the heat of the summer, one of the second floor AC units quit and could not be repaired due to its age. I think they're around 25 years old. So I went out and got quotes. We have enough in either buildings and grounds maintenance to do it, or city hall fund to do just that floor, and then we'll budget out the other 2 floors over the next year or 2.
Future.
Yep.
I have more details on that in item number 3. Just so you know.
Okay.
For funding.
Okay.
I got the funding covered next.
Good, okay. So I guess what we're looking at is, when I reviewed the quotes, we put them all in front of you. I didn't pick one at this time, so I guess that can be a part of the discussion. So when I looked at them, you know, you have more of, 2 of them are more budget friendly than the other, due to the brands, I believe. I didn't get a quote from Lennox that would be replacing, all 6 of these are Lennox that are in here. I tried to get more quotes, so we had a wide, but anyway, when I'm looking at it, the one here uses 5-ton AC units as opposed to the 4-ton units on the little bit cheaper quote. So the daily heating and air conditioning quote, as far as, is like a little over $1,000 more for 5-ton units as opposed to 4-ton units. So I guess my recommendation would be to that.
It's a smaller furnace as well on K and B.
Right.
80,000 BTU, so they're did. I sent this to my son, that's what he does, but he never answered me about if this is reasonable or not. And I forgot I was busy, I forgot to bug him. But I can see that they probably put in minimum. And the 100,000 BTU and the 5 ton is probably more along the lines of what we need.
The other quote didn't give me detailed specifications other than the brand. So,
Quite a bit more money.
So TH Eifert, they had a lot of details on the scope of work. Do these other companies have basically the same?
yeah, they'll reclaim the refrigerant and everything like that.
Okay.
Yep, and they're the ones, so we had to modify how they come out of the walls because these currently are inside of the walls. So we're gonna have to go out and they're gonna have like it's not a decorative cover, but it'll be in a case so that you don't just see insulated copper lines. At least that's what, I'm not an HVAC guy, but that's what they told me was gonna happen. So,
Yeah, I personally think the delta of $1,500 difference or whatever to get a larger heating unit and a larger AC unit is probably a good investment. The third quote just doesn't make sense to me.
right,
Is the K&B heating, there's probably a warranty with that too?
yeah, like, I think they said 10 years. When I was looking up, on that brand of furnace, both of them have, the one from Daily and the one from K&B look like they both have a 10-year warranty.
Yeah, we'll see that on the day.
Now, you know, sometimes as time goes by, certain parts don't qualify, so I can't guarantee it's like 100% of everything every day, but. So I guess that's what I would recommend, that we go with the Daily heating unless you want me to search more and.
Council, do you have other questions for John? Or you want to respond to his question? Do you want him to search for other estimates, or are you comfortable with one of these?
It's a singular furnace and singular AC unit, dual furnace?
Yep, 2 furnaces per floor, and they run in tandem, and heat and AC. And I did inquire that we should be able to match them over the course of our replacement time, that in whatever, let's say a maximum, do 1 floor a year, so in the next 3 years.
I move that we approve and accept the estimate from Daily Heating and Air Conditioning in the amount not to exceed $24,930 to replace the 2 furnaces and AC system on the 2nd floor of City Hall, and authorize John Selver, DPW Superintendent, to sign the acceptance of the estimate.
Second.
We have a motion from Larry, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you for letting us stay warm this
You buy an awful lot of blankets for that.
I was actually thinking more about the AC.
Me too. Okay, here we have our treasurer, Megan, back to talk to us about our first quarter budget amendments.
So you should all have in your packets your first quarter budget comparisons. We start at the top with my most favorite subject ever. Our interest revenue is expected, or was budgeted to be around $81,000 this year. As of the end of first quarter, we have generated $29,000 in interest revenue. That's about 36% of the budget that's planned, so we are well on our way to exceed that. You never want to plan on it in case we have to do some big spending, and then you're not making as much money because you don't have as much money in the bank. Overall, we are on track as of first quarter across all of our funds. Salaries and related expenses to DPW staff are well under budget due to all the staffing changes that occurred earlier this year. So where I will first direct your attention to is there is a cash summary by account, 2 pages into your packet. I don't know if your packets are one-sided or single-sided or double-sided. So you're looking for a big spreadsheet. It says cash summary by account for City of Perry on top. That is our fund balances as of September 30th. That's money in the bank. I will draw your attention to the bottom where the tax fund has like 1.2 million in it, and that's because 800,000 of that was then dispersed to your schools, your county, the first part of October. There's a company called CoreLogic that is kind of like the broker for many escrow accounts. So you have a Rocket Mortgage, you have an MSU-FCU account, they all funnel through CoreLogic. CoreLogic makes one very, very large payment, usually a week before the tax deadline. And so that's a huge influx that's just instantly dispersed a couple weeks later. So I'll go back to then my notes. We have 2 amendments that I would propose that we make this quarter. And they both relate to spending that was not planned in this year's budget because they're items that appeared on our radar after we approved the budget this spring. So the first thing would be the new server. We have already approved that spend a few meetings back. And again, it was because it's at the end of its life, it's well exceeded its life, and we have no idea how much life it has left. It was better to purchase one than have to limp along should it kaput, right? So typically, office equipment funding is spread across all the departments within the general fund, so the clerk, the treasurer, the police department, all of them, water, sewer, and roads. My suggestion is that for this one-time capital outlay purchase to fund the server, is that it be a general fund contribution from general fund balance. You can see what the fund balances are looking like on that spreadsheet I directed you to a minute ago. And rather than splitting it amongst 8 departments within the general fund, it's all general fund money, we'll just make one lump contribution from one of the general fund departments of $15,000. And that will more than cover what we've already approved to spend. We've only approved to spend, I think it was $12,500. We also just replaced a couple computers, desktops. Those were planned expenses, but now it will leave us a small cushion for any other unplanned equipment emergencies to get us through the rest of the year. Any questions about how we're going to fund that server?
Pulling it out of the general fund is okay with the auditors, they're not gonna.
Oh, absolutely.
They're not gonna go,
Yes.
hey, you should have did this
No.
and that and the other thing.
No, that is like your emergency savings fund. We're building our fund balance so we can make these large scale purchases when we need them, instead of having to go on finance every little.
No, I agree with
Yeah.
that, I just wanted.
Yep, yeah, no, 100%, that's how we need to do it. We good? Okay, page 3, you'll see I have highlighted this is where I feel we should fund the upgrades to the HVAC system. We do have some buildings and grounds funds in the budget right now that we can put toward this, but not enough. Again, I feel that fund balance can support this purchase. Interest revenue can also support this purchase. We will well exceed the cost of this purchase with interest revenues this year alone. I would also then recommend, just to put it in your brain, that we consider replacing the first and third floor units next year, both of them. My recommendation is going to be the general fund support the purchase for this level, and then we have the city hall fund that currently has City Hall Fund has about $37,000 in the account right now. Those are all funds that have been raised over the years from hall rental, birthday parties, graduation parties. So all the money sitting in that fund, as far as I'm aware, because it's been accumulating forever, it's been used before to refinish floors, to purchase a refrigerator, to purchase stoves. So we've been saving this money to make improvements to this building. So I would recommend that we get both of them upgraded next year because they are 27 years old. They're new with the building when the city moved in. And is it the Freon that's no longer, they changed the coolant type.
Yes.
So that's what took so long, I believe in the summer when we were limping along, is they said, well, you should probably wait to buy a new unit because they're just gonna change in a couple months. And you don't wanna put something that if something happens to it, it's obsolete the next time you need to repair it. So,
maybe we should earmark this money for next budget for the furnaces.
yes, I'm saying when we start talking about the budget next year, I would recommend that we do both floors, and I can, at that time, show you how I think we can support that spending for this year.
My only apprehension of replacing both,
Mhm.
then that means if, chances are they wouldn't happen, but they both could go at the same time because they're the exact same age,
Agreed.
right?
Right.
So if you do one floor, doing this floor, do one floor and then another floor,
Yes.
then you have, thinking worst case scenario, you kind of stagger what could go wrong.
But the worst case scenario
Well-
is that this one died this year.
Correct, I get
They're
it.
ready. So I just,
Someone needs
something
to
to think
talk to
about.
it
That's
very
not-
kindly and tell it
yeah.
to hang in there.
that part is not a decision we need to make anytime soon, but I just want to put it on your radar. And then John mentioned the asset management work we've been doing. We don't have a final report yet. We have more meetings coming up with OHM. I would guess in the coming month, we'll have more hard data to show you about what their recommendations are of what should be updated, how fast you should, how much time you have to start working on some of the infrastructure stuff. Not just at City Hall, everywhere. Sidewalks, streets, sewer, water, like they're looking at all of it.
Yeah, they really looked in detail at everything the city owns as far as buildings, equipment, and so forth.
Right, and just as a reminder, that research was mostly funded by grant money.
Yes, it was.
So my recommendation then would be a capital outlay amendment in the building fund 101-202 of $30,000 to offset the cost of the purchase that you just approved. Again, it builds in a little cushion. If you don't spend it, it just stays in fund balance. It doesn't go away. You're not saying I can't spend it for something else. It's just giving you that little bit of, what if they start ripping the walls apart and there's like, oh, now we have to do this. You know what I mean? Like, it's the contingency fund. Just because you move it doesn't mean you have to spend it.
Any questions for Megan? Council, any more discussion?
And the only other thing I'll point out is the discussion on the well. I don't have my budget that has like my line item notes in it, but I do believe that the former superintendent did budget well money this year to the tune of $130,000.
Okay.
But I can't speak for certain that there aren't multiple projects that we're going to spend that money, because I don't have all that.
Okay. Well, we'll obviously need to be looking at that when John's ready. Okay. Council, what would you like to do here?
I move that we approve the first quarter budget amendments as presented by Megan Galbraith, treasurer.
Second.
Thank you.
We have a motion from Mike, seconded by Larry. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you, Megan. As always, excellent job. Moving into our number 5 on new business, MML liability and property insurance renewal. Looking at discussion and possible approval of that. If you have questions, Shirley's your person, your go-to person.
Okay. I just want to say that we had an increase of $2,748 to the premium for the entire year. You can see in the email that I gave you, they breaks down exactly what everything is. We had a 300% loss ratio. That's what we, from the tornado. So I imagine some of that is worked into there. But I really feel that's not a bad increase. We will be receiving also a $3,642 dividend return once we pay our premium, so it's kind of a wash.
You're not supposed to use insurance.
Everything is covered. John has his new truck up, the Kenworth, is it Kenworth, John? Yeah.
Great.
Freightliner up in the barn, and that didn't have insurance on it. I told them I wanted that insured. I don't want it sitting in the barn and have something happen. It's not complete, so I imagine there may be, it won't increase this year. So when he gets the rest of the accessories put on the truck, I'll call them, I'll say the accessories are completed, the value of the truck is now an additional this much. We won't see that until 26, 27 renewal. So they just add it as a courtesy, they don't increase their premium.
So it's covered, it just isn't paid for till after.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
I move that we approve the payment to MML Liability and Property Pool for the city's insurance renewal policy term December 1st, 2025 to December 1st, 2026, in the amount not to exceed $47,830, and authorize the clerk to sign the agreement.
Second.
We have a motion from Larry and a second from Mindy. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next on our agenda is number 6, to discuss North Street. And I believe you all got in your packets information regarding North Street and why we need to discuss it. And some of you might even say, where is North Street? This part that we're talking about of North Street is west of Lamb Street. It is 16 feet wide, 478.50 feet long. It runs alongside of one property owner and then behind, I think, 4 lots on the north side. There was some issue with that, whether it was an easement, was it a right-of-way, but based on its size, it certainly couldn't be a road unless it was changed. So we went to the Planning Commission and asked them if they wanted, what they wanted to do with that. Abandon it or keep it or what, and their recommendation came back to us to do a survey and clearly mark it. But we talked with Justin English, the city attorney, and he did send a memo to city council, and I think you all have that. And he did make some recommendations. Does anybody have issues with that, those recommendations, or want to discuss anything in those recommendations?
I think we need to talk about it almost in a couple stages. That right-of-way actually extends from Main Street or M52, basically to the west to the eastern edge of the Perry Lakes development plotting. The specific area that raised the issue was between Lamb Street and west to the Perry Lakes property. There were some issues in there relative to cleanup that needed to happen, and our ordinance enforcement officer basically came to the Planning Commission to ask for some guidance in terms of what is that piece of property, how should it be handled, et cetera. And that ultimately, after meeting with Ron, the Planning Commission wasn't unanimous, but they did in fact vote for the recommendation to get it surveyed and staked unfortunately, according to what I read out of Justin English's note, if we elected to do that, then basically, by default, the city becomes responsible for maintenance and upkeep of that strip of property, which today we don't on any of the other right-of-way pieces, to my knowledge, John. I think we rely on the property owners adjacent to that to keep other right-of-ways within the city that aren't developed, mowed and cleaned up and things.
I understand that. Just so you know, I did call Landmark Surveying in Owasso and ask them how much it would cost to survey that strip that I spoke of, that's west of Lamb Street to the rear line of the properties in Perry Lakes, and it would be about $1,200. Plus, then we would have to, as Larry said, provide the maintenance for it, clearly mark it, and so forth.
Why did this come up?
It came up because Ron Korzecki, the ordinance enforcement officer, received a complaint about some things going on in that strip of land. And so he was trying to figure out what it is it an easement, is it a right-of-way? So then we had to go to the planning commission and check to make sure there was no utilities through there. We had Ms. Dig do a search and there are none there. So that he could have better guidance as to how to address the issues that the complaints came in on.
The planning commission was given, if I recall, I don't have that right in front of me, about 3 different options, if you will, at that time from Justin English. One was basically, say do nothing, was leave it as is, but enforce the ordinances that we've already got on the books that are enforceable to take care of the issues that exist there. Second was to have the right-of-way in that section revert back to the property owner's responsibility and have the city go through the process to relinquish that right-of-way that we have on that, platted for that section. Or the other one then was to get it surveyed, staked, and clearly mark it as city right-of-way.
Is there, I couldn't find it, I just looked on, so I had my phone out, so I got the maps, it doesn't come up. Is there future use for this?
It's 16 feet wide and
No, I heard you.
474
Right, but then it goes to
long.
nothing?
It goes to
Doesn't go
nothing.
to Perry Lakes, or will,
It
could it
goes-
eventually?
It goes to a backyard. It comes to a dead end at the back line of a lot in Perry Lakes.
Do you have a map, Cheryl?
It's right there.
Yeah, there may be,
It's in
Bob,
your packet.
and there again, I didn't discuss it with John specifically, there may or may not be some city usage between Main Street and Lamb Street.
Right. And we're talking about doing this, like Larry said, in sections.
Correct.
The one under scrutiny right now, at least the one that has been discussed the most, is that section that runs west of Lamb Street.
Correct.
That dead ends at the back line of the lot in Perry Lakes. The rest of it that runs to the east of Lamb Street is wider. And it does go all the way to Main Street, and it even gets wider as it gets closer to Main Street. So I don't think we really have had any issue with that section of it. So truly, we're just talking about addressing what is west of Lamb Street, not the rest of it, not the part that's east of Lamb Street.
Is this it right here?
So, whoever owns this property,
This is Lamb, this is.
if they ever wanted to subdivide that, they could use that North Street as access to their subdivided lots.
What subdivided lots?
If, I'm assuming that's an owner's
Oh,
name.
that.
So that
yeah.
plot is owned by that person. If they wanted to then split these into lots, they could use that as a street.
No, because it's not wide enough. It's only 16 feet wide. A street has to be 66 feet wide
doesn't have to be 6 feet wide for easement, or for utilities, right?
Evidently not. But for a road, yeah, it's too narrow to be a
Could be
road.
anything.
And there are no utilities, according to Ms. Stig, that run down there. There are no overhead power lines either. And we don't have to.
What does it cost us to let them go, give it to the residents or whatever, how, instead of spending $1,200 to have it surveyed, for something that can't be used as a road,
We could just not survey it.
and just let it sit there as it is?
We have to
Yeah.
get Justin's guidance for what we need to do to relinquish the city's right of way after that section. You know, may or may not require a public hearing or something, that certainly can be done. You know, the least disruptive to us is to just say, we're gonna leave it as is, and Ron's gonna have to work to enforce the ordinances as they stand, or we can move forward to give up that section of right-of-way between, like I say, just to the west of Lamb Street.
Are people like putting stuff on it, is that what the
There's-
ordinance?
There's debris on there, that somebody's put a fence partway across the,
Okay.
which shouldn't have been there, given it is technically right-of-way.
One of the property owners has a travel trailer parked on it.
So anything we do, aside from doing nothing with it, is gonna cost us something.
Just
So why
enforcing the ordinance too.
don't we do nothing?
Well, that's up to council. That's not the planning commission's recommendation. But council
Well,
is
I
who
would vote for their
decides. Yeah.
recommendation.
Why did,
That's why it's come to council to.
why did planning commission, I know it wasn't unanimous, and why did they recommend the surveying and
They
taking it back?
didn't want to relinquish, and help me, Mindy, because we're both on planning commission. My take was, I wasn't in favor of it either. They didn't want to relinquish the city's right-of-way for any potential future need. They couldn't define what that potential might be, but they said, we've got the right-of-way platted there, so we ought to continue to retain it. And to go further than that, then they'd say we ought to make sure it's clearly marked so there's no question relative to where the right-of-way actually runs. My concern at the time, and it was borne out, is that if we did that, then it becomes the city's responsibility to keep it clear, keep it maintained, keep it mowed.
And Justin gives pretty clear options, I think, in his memo to city council. Council, if you would like more time to think about this, to read your memo that came in from Justin and give it more thought, we can certainly table this to the next meeting. We do not have to, we don't have any urgency to act on this tonight, but it's up to you.
How does the street have a name?
Does it have a name?
They all have names.
What, if it's not a street, how does it have a name?
They name them for identification purposes.
When they plot it.
There's about 7 of them in the city of Perry, rights of way, but they all have names for identification purposes.
As the property was platted years ago to say where spots would be and where all the roads would be, even though they didn't exist at that time.
I know if you mail a letter to my house, if you put street on it, it goes somewhere else.
You could take that up with the post office. if you
Trust me, you have, they can't do anything either.
Yeah, you can't.
At least you get mail to your house.
If we do nothing, do I understand this right? If we do nothing, we are obligated to take care of it. Is that right?
If we leave it the way it is now,
Yep, just leave it alone.
Status quo.
We don't take care of it.
Right.
Is that right?
Mhm.
So that doesn't cost us anything
Well,
Well, I don't know if yes, we haven't been, but since we're acknowledging it's our property, and we're gonna enforce the ordinances, then we're not any better than the residents that we're gonna force the ordinance on. So we're gonna have to then maintain that.
And not necessarily, Bob, because right now,
I don't think,
It's a right of way.
I understand that, I understand that, but.
You
like that-
need to read the attorney's
I will.
recommendation.
Just off the top, I haven't, my bad, I didn't read through this and see what this is, but if I can't park my, it's a useless piece of property and I have a camper on there, but you're gonna make me force it off, then I want the city to then do what they have to do with the city property.
Let's
That's
table
all.
this to the next meeting. I'd like a motion regarding that. You need to review what the attorney said. We're not gonna do this based on I think, you think. So read your packet, we'll bring it back next time.
I motion that we table it till next meeting.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion for Bob, seconded by Kristen. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
I,
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. The next item on our agenda is the first reading of ordinance amendment 404.
okay, just a little background, there are a couple of ordinance first readings tonight proposed and through the ordinance committee. Both of these have grown, they're interrelated, if you will, both grown out of some ordinance enforcement issues surrounding ordinance that we've put in place a number of months ago. And after a lot of discussion and review with Justin English, our city attorney, what we're bringing forward is those recommendations. First one, I move that we place ordinance amendment 404, chapter 612, animals, 612.01, animals running at large, which reads as follows, be placed on the next agenda for adoption. The city of Perry ordains, city of Perry ordinance 612, animals 612.01, domestic animals running at large, chapter 612, animals running at large. No owner or keeper of domestic pets or any animals such as cats, horses, mules, cattle, sheep, goats, or swine, including all variations of each and or waterfowl, including chickens, turkeys, geese, ducks, shall be allowed to run at large and enter or upon any premises constituting a street, highway, public park, or other public or private other than on the premise of which the owner or person providing animal care land in the city or bordering upon the city. The majority of that was on the books. We just made a couple of additions for further clarification.
Second.
We have a motion from Larry, seconded by Mindy. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Our next item is also a first reading of a zoning amendment.
There again, this is an extension of the same discussion, just in the zoning ordinance. Before we start through that, any comments or questions? I move that zoning ordinance amendment 405, chapter 3, general provisions, section 3.30, animals in residential and agricultural districts, B, pets in residential districts, and C, community cats in residential and agricultural districts, which reads as follows, be placed on the next agenda for adoption. The city of Perry ordains, city of Perry zoning ordinance, chapter 3, general provisions, section 3.30, animals in residential and agricultural districts, B, pets in residential districts, and C, community cats in residential and agricultural districts are hereby amended as follows. The following subparagraph shall be amended and added to section 3.30B. Point 3, pets housed both indoors and outdoors within the city of Perry, are recommended to be spayed, neutered, microchipped, and vaccinated in accordance with recommendations of a veterinarian. Point 4, the fostering of pets is in partnership with a rescue organization is permitted within the city of Perry. Foster pets are subject to the same standards of care as own pets, and all city ordinances relating to care, environment, restraint, and well-being of the animal are in effect. The fostering of outdoor pets is the fostering of outdoor pets is subject to the same pet limits as described in section 3.30B2. A new addition, point 5. The city of Perry does not permit the feeding or care of any cats without ownership or partnership fostering unless the requirements defined in section 3.30C, community cats and TNR, trap, neuter, and return, are strictly adhered to. The following additional subsection is added to section 3.30C. Point C, community cats and TNR or trap, neuter, and return in residential and agricultural districts. Caring for community cats and TNR within Perry is permitted by the city with the following conditions. Point 1, new addition, the definitions apply to this section. Community cat means a free roaming cat that does not have any visible, discernible, or microchip identification. Community cats include, but are not limited to any of the following. Point 1, a cat that has been ear-tipped to indicate the cat is sterilized, vaccinated against rabies, and currently part of a community cat program. Point 2, a cat that is found outside with no valid identification or is not known to be under the care of one or more residents in the area where the cat is found and where it is not easily discernible if the cat has been sterilized, vaccinated against rabies, or ear-tipped. Point 2, food must be provided in a way that does not attract other wildlife. Point 3, shelter must be provided for harsh heat waves and colder months. Point 4, community cat caretakers must make reasonable efforts to spay or neuter community cats by participating in or reaching out to TNR, trap, neuter, return assistance. Point 5, the practice of TNR and respective holding, carrying of cats during recovery is permitted within the city of Perry. Point 6, those that wish to participate in TNR must be certified through Michigan Humane Society, All About Animals Rescue, or equivalent association providing training that ensures the welfare of the cat while practicing TNR.
Second.
We have a motion from Larry, a second from Mike.
I have a question for you though.
Yeah?
It says no feeding somewhere on here, I can't find it. And then it says feeding without attracting other wildlife.
Where did you see?
So how's that possible?
Where did you see no feeding?
I thought I read,
That's what he said.
No feeding unless.
permit feeding or care of any cats without ownership or partnership fostering, unless required. So how do we do that? And then how are we gonna enforce
Unless the
this?
requirements defined in community cats and TNR. And one of the requirements that are highlighted in community cats is that you must provide food that does not attract wildlife. You may feed them if you're following.
Okay, I just seem to be contradicting itself, that's all.
Yep.
I understand it's really hard to not attract other wildlife. I get that, believe me. But how are we going to enforce this?
Same way we enforce many other ordinances.
So you're gonna have someone sneaking around in the middle of the night, because that's when the stupid cats would set off my Ring cameras.
Bob,
And
Bob, this is as a result typically of complaints from neighbors who
I
are
get that.
finding that cats are peeing in their kids' play structures or, doing other things that it's not nice to have cats doing in your yard.
I don't agree, I don't disagree with that, that's been going on for eons.
So no, he's not gonna sneak around during the night.
But
to
how,
see-
again, we're making an ordinance that is almost impossible to enforce. I'm sorry, I'm just going by experience, I have a Ring camera, several of them around my house, and they go off in the middle of the night, it's a cat, I know where the cat lives.
Who is their cats?
Sorry?
I said, prove that they're your cats. I got cats running around my yard, they're not mine. I'm getting accused of being my cats.
I'm not saying,
I'm just saying, I mean,
all I know is I know where it's at usually during the day.
When have you ever seen our ordinance enforcement officer sneak around
all the time.
looking?
No, I'm not saying that's gonna happen, Mindy, I'm saying, and I've brought this up at other points when we set an ordinance. Who's going to enforce it and how? Just like when we had the ordinance about you can't have furniture designed for inside the house, who's gonna go check the tags? Remember I said that in an open meeting?
And it's always been when we get complaints.
But, okay, I get it. The cats go in people's sandboxes. It's happened forever. It's, how are you going to enforce this? How are you gonna prevent it? This isn't, just because you wrote out a piece of paper doesn't mean it's gonna prevent it.
If someone comes and says this is out of control, someone needs to look at this.
But how are you gonna fix it? I'm legitimately asking this question.
Okay, well, this
How?
starts providing steps of things
How?
we can.
It doesn't do anything.
It's
It doesn't do anything. I'm sorry, it doesn't. You're not, it's a problem everywhere, okay? Everywhere, it's a chronic problem. People are not responsible for their own animals. People dump them all the time. It is a problem. How are we fixing the problem? This isn't fixing the problem.
The community cats TNR program,
You're,
trap, neuter,
no disrespect.
Return.
Don't talk to me like I don't know what that is.
no, I know, I'm just,
Because
let me
I-
finish,
she should be
what
able to
I'm
talk.
saying.
Let her talk.
It is defined in this ordinance that you have to go by those standards.
Sure.
And if that's not being done, then a letter's issued indicating you need to do that. So if it doesn't happen, then we make sure that the person understands what those requirements are. I mean, the ordinance enforcement, a lot is education, to help people
Sure it is, but how
understand
you
what
still-
they can do.
Again, I go back to my point, it comes in the middle of the night, I do more than most people, and my wife does more than I do about the cats, okay? How do I prevent that cat from coming into my yard?
exactly.
It's impossible. It is impossible. So you're gonna say, oh, you're gonna send me a letter, whatever. Doesn't fix the problem. There isn't a way to fix this problem. I'm being honest. But this doesn't do anything other than maybe appease somebody and saying, hey, I got cats going in my kid's play structure, I wanna complain. Okay, we'll make an ordinance. It's still not gonna fix it, is it?
It is not gonna be a short-term fix, Bob. If you have a better alternative,
I don't.
I'd love to hear it.
I don't have
This
a
is
better
an attempt
alternative,
by-
I just know this is a waste of piece of paper and time.
Attempt by the ordinance committee to try to get a little more stringent in terms of what we put on the books here a few months ago, simply to say that we want to eliminate someone just feeding free roaming cats that continue to multiply without, and continue to run out of check.
Correct, but I know too many people that don't do the neuter part. They just wanna feed, they wanna protect all the, the cats, that's more power to them, except if they have 10 cats today, 2 years from now, they're gonna have 100. Okay? So, my suggestion would be, you have indoor, outdoor, no outdoor cats. Then you wanna get uproar, people are really gonna be upset because people think that you shouldn't tell them that you can't have an outdoor cat. Then you have people, now there's a movement that you shouldn't take the rights away from the cat and neuter them. I think that's ridiculous, but that is going on. I'm telling you, this is not gonna solve the problem. Not
It's
one
an
bit.
attempt,
Hmm?
it's an attempt to,
It does ask people to trap, neuter,
Mhm.
return. So if they abide by the ordinance and do that,
I think it's a great effort, but it's not gonna do anything.
well,
All right, let's make the effort.
I think an effort is better than ignoring it.
So we might as well just do a roll call vote because I can't vote for this, because I think it's useless. We'll save a step.
Right now. Ready?
Ready? We have a
Kristen?
motion on the floor. Larry made the motion, Mike seconded it. We're having a roll call vote.
Yep. Kristen Babel, Yes or no?
Yes.
So you're voting for, to read this. So if you vote yes, you're voting to pass this on to the next, for the next meeting for final reading. If you vote no, you're voting no, and you do not agree with us.
It's
okay?
just a first reading,
Yeah,
nothing.
it's
The
just-
first reading is just
Yeah.
moves it to the next, on the agenda for the next meeting,
Yes.
for possible adoption. It is not adopted.
Right. Larry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bob,
No.
Mindy.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes.
Motion passes, we have a majority, so this will be placed on the next meeting for final approval. The next item on our agenda is in regard to the lot that the city owns on South M52 at 12510 South M52. The city council accepted and offered to purchase this in August. The buyer had to do some perk tests and have the county look at it in regard to on-site septic and make sure that there was adequate space there for what she wanted to do. And she let me know 2 days ago that she's removing those contingencies based on a acceptable perk, and that she wants to move ahead and schedule the closing. The closing has been scheduled for the 17th of November at 11 a.m. with Cicelo Title. I don't have the settlement statements yet, but it appears to me that the title insurance cost of $750, possibly a deed prep fee, but I don't know how much that is. I don't think it's going to be more than $50. So I would say the most that the city's going to have to pay in relation to closing this transaction would be $800. The purchase agreement is for $5,500, so basically the net to the city's $4,700. And that's based on the purchase agreement that you accepted back in August. So with the closing scheduled for November 17th, I'm just looking for council to authorize me to sign on the city's behalf for that closing.
On the 17th, right, when you did, sorry.
Mhm.
I move that we authorize the mayor to sign that agreement, closing. If we need a motion.
I do, it's in the, it's in the,
I went past it, sorry, my bad. You have it right in front of you.
Yeah, I'll get it. I move that city council authorizes the mayor to sign the closing documents for the sale of 12510 South M52 Perry based on the purchase agreement dated August 18th, 2025.
Second.
we have a motion from Mike, seconded by Bob. Excuse me, all those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. And that money for that sale will go to the water fund, because that's where the money was taken from when the city purchased that land years ago. So that's where it will go. John, that sign can come down, but really, we probably better not take it down until the 18th,
Okay.
till the closing actually happens, so. Is there any other business to come before council at this time? Does anyone else want to come forward for public comment at this time?
Yes, I will.
Yes?
Matthew Shepard again. I come before this room in order. I ask, whatever happened to the Creator's granted rights of life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness. This new amendments for having pets that you don't own.
They're not new, Matthew. These are just revisions
Okay,
to
they're
ordinances
amendments.
that were
They're
passed.
amendments that are going to garnish more impact against the people.
Go ahead and make your comments.
Is this gonna add revenue to the city of Perry?
No.
So when somebody is cited, they won't be fined?
I'm hoping they would never be cited. I'm hoping that we would have a community of people who would cooperate and respect their neighbors, and then there would be no citation.
And so the same citations, in effect, should go towards individuals that are in non-compliance of said ordinances.
We issue letters first advising them what ordinance they're in violation of and giving them recommendations of how to bring themselves into compliance. That's where we would love to see that end.
Because I cannot control possums and raccoons coming after my chickens.
Possums and raccoons aren't listed in here.
I understand that, but you could expand it to horses, dogs, pigs, whatever.
You don't live in the city, Matthew.
No, I don't.
Would you please just make your comment and move on?
Well, why do you want to make ridiculous ordinances, as
We
Bob's
don't.
pointed out?
We're trying to help people understand how they can respect their neighbors.
Well, we tried to get that through to the zoning and planning department last month, or actually it was September, when an individual is clearly violating his code of ethics with his neighbors in this county. The individual said, I don't care what you do, I'm going to continue business as I please.
Was that in the city of Perry?
No,
Oh,
but it goes on everywhere.
I understand, and I appreciate your comments. Thank you for exercising your right to speak publicly. Does anyone else have public comment at this time? Council, do you have any observations or discussions you'd like to bring forward at this time? Then now at 8:36, our meeting's adjourned.